Hey, what's up, my internet friends? It's Dan here from Cry Noir. How are we all doing today? We're just continuing on my game-making journey for yet another installment. This is going to be the last one for Super Cave Boy, and this is just going to be a final run-through of my finished game. So I've talked you through the levels that were designed by Benjamin. They were the first sort of 3 or 4 levels or so that were introducing all the characters and everything, all the enemies, should I say. And I've also talked you through sort of how we actually made the game and shown one level that I designed. But I went on and designed a load more levels because obviously sort of a platformer with only sort of 5 or 6 very short levels would not necessarily be something that you could hand around to your friends. So what I did is I made a load more levels. And this is the end result. Now, I've had a few friends play it, and generally got reasonable feedback. Everyone seemed to quite enjoy it, but then again, they would say that because they're my friends. So I'd like you all to just sort of have a watch of this, see what you think of the levels, and see if there's any sort of glaring issues that you see that you think, oh well, that sucks, you should have done this like that, and stuff like that. And I'll just generally talk you through how I went about designing each one of these levels. So without further ado, let's crack on. Okay, so this first level, we've all seen that. I put some gems in there, same with this one, just to give you some more gems, just to get you off the bat. And that's because when you die, you lose sort of 10 gems. So I wanted people to have at least a little bit of a buffer so they would get a score. So we're now up as far as sort of the 3rd level. Again, I've talked you through how we made all of these levels. Just look back for 2 videos previous to this one, I think, and I'll talk you through the sort of level design and the thought process that went into these levels. They're all fairly similar, standard, a very quick and easy way to deal with this spider, boop, and that's dealt with, and then away we go. So we're now, after this, we'll be on to my first level. So the first thing that will strike you about this is the crippling frame rate. There is, unfortunately, every single one of these blocks is an object on its own. So as a result, game makers, are struggling to master all of, to run all of these objects. There is a way around that using the tile system, but at the time I wasn't aware of that. So anyway, so I wanted to build like a bigger level. Like the sort of size you get on Mario or on Sonic and everything, and just using objects, it doesn't work like that. It does appear to have sort of a branching path, but not really. I like the use of the bat there as sort of a way to kind of pressure the player. Now again, one of the things that I wanted people to do with this game was sort of based on precision and patience. So you have to be precise with all of these jumps, and then there'll be lots of places where you have to wait for enemies to move out of the way or to get in the right position for you to be able to deal with stuff. And you'll notice there's a recess in the ceiling there, so the only real place you can get those guys is if you stay there and sort of stand them down. And then that's it. Again, some more precision platforming here. And again, you're over the whole drop there, so if you do fall down there, you've got to backtrack the whole level. Again here, spider in a perfect position to launch, so as soon as you land on there, he's on you and you have to jump away. And again, a little bit of precision there, you have to wait for the spider to come here. That snake even, that jump there is a very precise one as well, you have to be right on the edge. Same with that one, you have to be right on the edge for you to be able to make those jumps. We're now into sort of some of the confined areas. So these make it again a little bit harder to kill everything. You have to set the enemies up, you can't just go jumping in, otherwise you will get killed. So in here, you have to lower this bat down, and you have to wait for him to come there so that he'll eventually start heading across, and then you have to wait for him here. And it's just loads of sort of patience and sort of precision sort of work. You have to think about what you're doing, and I kind of like that, just so that it gives it an extra level of sort of difficulty to it. Again, some of these jumps are fairly straightforwards, but again, you do have to be precise with them, and you can get that gem. I made sure that you could get every gem, but again, he's right on the edge for you to be able to do that. Now this one, I wanted obviously a break from permanently going right. I don't want to suffer from the kind of the Mario and Sonic issue. So this one's sort of a down-going level. Down-going level? A level where you go down. And again, we've got some interesting bits here. Like here, you have to lower the bat down so that you can then rush past him and get him. Now, I've only seen a couple of people play it, other than me, obviously. And when they do it, there's a lot of people sort of seem to struggle with that section there, purely and simply because it puts you in a very confined position if you don't know what you're doing. Again, here some very precision. Like, you cannot make this jump without doing a ledge grab. You just can't do it. So again, people will try it and fall in the lava and lose lives. So and again, this one, a nice ledge grab. I think that's the first time you have to do a ledge grab over lava, basically, and there's no other way of doing it. And then again, same with this one, a leap of faith down there, and along we are at the bottom again. This is I can't remember, so this is almost a bit of a hark back to, you know, the Super Mario levels where the ceiling would come down and crush you and you had to jump into the gaps and then wait. It would have been nice to have had some sort of screen scrolling thing here as well, but it's just a little bit of a kind of a shout out to that. And again, here we go, this is towards the end of this level, and that again is a pixel perfect jump. You have to make that. And here we go, another one that you have to do is a ledge grab. Now this is the first time I introduced this mechanic, which is where you have to jump out in the wrong direction, pivot and jump and grab hold. It will be used later on in the game, so again, this is just the first time you have to do that. And again, here we are, forcing you to do ledge grabs. You cannot make that jump without doing it from a hanging position, so you then have to jump out over the lava, turn around, grab hold of the ledge. Otherwise, you know, if you just try and do a straight jump, you will die. And here we go, nice little patience building thing here. And again, I sort of wanted to make these sort of, I like those levels in Mario's, or those bits in Mario where you can only make a jump by standing on an enemy, or by, you know, sort of sacrificing Yoshi. They were proving quite tricky to kind of get in this game, so I really wanted to do them, but they were very hard to do. So this is kind of my effort at that, just a tag-on thing at the end here. So there's no way to make your way across this without actually jumping on all the snakes. You have to do it that way. If you mess that up, then that's it. You do have to sacrifice yourself and start the level again. This is the level I actually taught people through, so obviously everyone's well aware of what happens in this level. If you haven't seen it, go back. There's a previous video to this one. It's called Level Design, and I talk you through the whole process as how I designed this level and all the sort of play testing I did to do it to get to the finished product. So yeah, I mean, this is I'm quite pleased with this level. I think it turned out really, really well. It's the reason why I decided to show this off is one of my favourite levels that I designed. And it's by no means the one that the most amount of thought went into, but it was, you know, it just seemed to turn out really well, and I quite liked it. I'd like the little gimmick of the arrow made up of gems, and things like that, and the fact that you could backtrack on this level, even if it's just a little tiny bit, and there was a bit of a reward for that. Again, with these all being objects rather than tiles, you are really limited on how much space you can take up and how much you can have in there. Now, the good thing about this is that it can handle, Game Maker can handle an awful lot of objects. So if you're clever with your level design, so say for instance, like with some of these bigger areas, if you'd, that there that I'm stood on there is 3 objects. Well, if you just made a tile, well, tiles take absolutely no sort of computing power, and you made one solid object that you then stretched over that, you've then, you know, that then frees up at least another 2 more objects. And again, you can do that in huge ways across an entire level. Now this is like the hardest level, and somebody commented on one of my other videos earlier about you know, whenever they make levels they just do trolling levels. Well, this is my troll level. It's a real lesson in patience. If you try and rush through this, or if you try and do it, you know, like at breakneck speed or anything like that, you will just lose, you will just die. You have to do it in a very kind of methodical and steady fashion, and you also have to be pixel perfect with all of your landing spots as well for all of these blocks. Now, I mean, one of the big things about this level is you'll almost never get hit once and survive. You know, if you get hit once, you generally just go straight in the lava and that's it, you're done for. So, I mean, that adds like an extra layer of difficulty to the level, because, you know, with that kind of lack of tolerance there of any sort of mistakes, you don't have to do much, and then that's it, you have to start right back at the beginning. And again, with this level being quite long, that makes it even worse. If you get all the way to the end and then you make one small mistake and end up in the lava, then you've got to do the whole thing again. So one thing you will notice is that when you if you stomp on a bat over the lava, that puts you at just about the right height for triggering the next row of bats who are just above you, and that makes it really tricky, because I mean the easiest way to do it is to bob along and then trigger one like this, and then you have to run all the way back here until you know that you're completely safe and there's no bats above you, and then stomp on him, and then that's that. But as you can see, even there, I triggered another bat from the one above, and now I've got two coming at me from two different directions, and I killed that one there, and then that's triggered another one up there. So it can start to get a little bit hectic with the number of bats that you've got. And I did try at one point just to see whether or not you could just run the full length of the level and then climb up the thing and then just start working your way down. I was almost tempted to kind of adjust how the actual bats were placed, because what I found is if you ran the full length of the level, you could trigger all of the bats and you could keep in front of them all, and then what you could do is you could then jump up the two steps at the other end, which you'll see in a bit. You get enough height to kill them and then just bounce on them one after the other as they came towards you, and that was quite a cool little effect. I really kind of enjoyed that. But the big problem was that would then trigger the ones from above you as well, and then as soon as they started coming in from both directions, it would just fail. So I did kind of debate getting rid of that, but so that you could do that little exploit just for the hell of it. But I ended up just deciding that, like, no, I'd much rather just be a punishing bastard and just make you do it the slow way. Ooh, a bit close there with the old ledge grab. So yeah, I mean, that's just a testament. You can get all of the gems. You'll notice I'm not getting any of the ones in the middle because they're just it's just a bit too much of a risk. But you know, if you were totally confident in your abilities, the risk and reward is there, and you can get those extra gems. The time doesn't really make any difference to your score. So obviously, if you get more and more by doing that, you are just inevitably going to increase your score. But yeah, I think this level it is very trolly. It is unnecessarily difficult, but it's a good ending for the game. It sort of separates out. I mean, you'll see the boss after this level as well. And I think it's just good to have like a really difficult level towards the end, just so that you do have that kind of escalation, and it's like kind of a final exam sort of thing. And there we go, just got to kill this. You can see I'm being a lot more cautious now on this playthrough. Waiting to see whether there's any more spawned yet. There's one more spawn. So rather than go down and deal with him, I'm just going to draw him out, maybe go another step across, draw him out a bit, and then there we go, we can get him dealt with, and that's that. So you can see me here just testing, just jumping up to see if I can sort of, see if there's any more just about to follow me before I start making my way up to the top. I don't want to get any surprises. There we go, so two more just come down. So rather than rush it and go up there, I decided to take my time and come down the bottom, and then there we go, make sure I play it safe. There we go, get another one, and boop. And has that triggered any more? Don't think it has. I think I've probably cleared most of the top. So now we finally get a look at the top of this level, and again, it's very much the same as the other one. The jumps are harder to make now because the ceiling's so close. So you have to get right close to the edge of every single block, or certainly, be a lot more consistent with your jumping. You've got less space to deal with the bats when you do get them, so you have to move further back as well, so that you can get them in place. And there we go. I don't think there's much left up here. I think by the time I make my way through, I trigger them all, and then one final jump. No, it's an absolute arse if you missed that. So here we are. This is the big boss, the grand reveal. So basically, if you touch him, you get injured. There's no jumping on him, and it was quite interesting watching my friend trying to play it, and he would always try and jump on him and then get killed, and was like, okay, so that's not the way. So you have to drop him in the lava there. You have to use the environment to kill him. And you can see I managed to kill him there, but he also got me, so that's that. It is possible to do a perfect run on this, and I think this is it. I think this is a perfect run. There you go, one, and straight across, and straight across. So every time you go underneath it, it triggers him and he tries to stomp on you, and there we go. And that's the end of the game. That's everything. Spent a lot of time messing around on the old bats level, But yeah, that's the whole game. It would be nice to go back and put in some more levels at some point, but I think after that, effectively, all you're doing is playing with a level editor, which you could do with, which you could do on any game basically. So with that, it was then on to the next challenges. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you liked the the levels that I did design. If anyone has any interesting suggestions or comments, feel free to leave a comment in the bits below. You know how YouTube works, you know, morons. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I shall see you next week with another episode of my game making journey. Cheerio, bye bye.